Huvanga Yauyuk, Kisag Ving Mugarunga, Asiadadaka Geneva Brightlu, John Penataklu, Asiadadaka Wadek Trederlu, Helena Trederlu. I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska, as one of 10 on Dena'ina land. I'm Inupiaq from King Island and Unangach from Attu. When I left my family to pursue my career in rugby, I also left the 8 younger siblings I helped raise, siblings who mean everything to me and people whom I can't live without. As the years unfold and my rugby career grows, I need to know it was all worthwhile.
Maybe spending 6 minutes here. And group 1, would you mind starting on the bikes? Thank you.
Since I was a kid, I've always been in sports. I didn't grow up playing rugby. A lot of it doesn't come naturally. A lot of people don't know the rules.
That's kind of a new sport to some of us Alaskans. I knew she was involved in rugby and I was saying, what's that, you know?
What I play for is my family and the land and where I come from. I actually didn't always think that playing for the national team would be a possibility for me. Once I got a taste, I had to keep going and see how far I could take it. There's a fire inside and I just can't hide it. There's a fire inside and I just can't fight it. Ooh. You know I'm coming for you.
Every single person in our group has got a different story. How can we allow them to be themselves within this team environment and to be successful on the world stage? The thing that attracted me so much to rugby was the team aspect of it. You need all 15 people on the field in order to be successful. Good morning. Competing at this level, it takes a lot out of you. The players do have to travel a long way to play games. You know, they do have to juggle studying and full-time jobs.
Okay, I think I'm good. I hope. There are so many sacrifices that you have to make without any sort of like security and knowing that you're going to be selected for something. I reckon, KJ up? Uh-oh. It's really hard to juggle your personal life, your professional life, and your athletic career. All right, I'm gonna get the meeting pulled up.
Just in your apartments, any views about pressure?
Some of us said that when our life is like together and we have like, it's like a balance, that we can play better. And then some of us, when our life is complete shit, is when we play the best because we want to distract ourselves from what's going on outside of rugby.
One was being caught up in a mistake that already happened, and it's not really useful to live in the past, so not being in the present.
Easy to say, hard to do sometimes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I have 9 siblings. I'm the second oldest. There were a lot of challenges at home. My mom worked during the day and her husband worked during the nighttime. A lot of the housework and childcare fell on our shoulders. Whenever there was like an unmet need that had to be filled, it was like we were there.
She essentially was like acting as a parent. In a way, she was like leaving not just like her siblings, but like her kids, like people she was caring for.
I'm usually able to go back twice a year, once in the summer, once in the winter. I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I've also packed a few rugby balls this time around to bring to my family to sort of like show them and introduce them to the sport. You know, like the reason that I'm away. We're going to the Denver Indian Health and Family Services for my second COVID vaccine dose. I've never been good at shots, but it's really important, obviously. Hi there. I'm here for my vaccine.
Your vaccine? Just
Yes.
go right through those double doors.
Okay. I want them being my younger siblings, to be able to look up to me. I want to be a role model to them. I want to inspire them, really.
Yeah, I think coming from like a really family-centered and like collectivist culture, like it's hard to not feel selfish pursuing your own interests and passions. The reality is, like, as a female rugby player, like, you have to give up a lot to be here. Time, money, like a lot of time away from home.
It felt like my world revolved around them, and so it was really shocking leaving. I think when I think about like how much they're growing when I'm not there, I like feel a lot of guilt because I feel like I'm missing out on their life, and it's sort of like just like it reminds me that like so much time has passed. I don't know, maybe they might be resentful that I wasn't around for them as much as they might want. The fear of regret is really real. I think our culture is very largely a reflection of the land, and it's almost like they're like one and the same. Having the water and the ocean on one side and being surrounded by big mountains on the other, I think it reminds me of like, I don't know, just how small people are. We are just a small piece in a collection of a bunch of other pieces.
That's an old lady with the tattoo on her chin. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there's other copies running around, you know, of different, to give you ideas. Mm-hmm. But I just saw that, oh, Kathryn. You have a rich history, and so we're very proud of our ancestors.
I remember my grandma, this is being one of the first things that she taught us was the different types of beads that we use.
That's these ones here. I want her to be happy and, you know, just get to do what she wants to do.
They're
not in there.
Well, I was always lucky to have you as a teacher to show me, you know, who I was and where I belonged, I guess, who my people were.
You know, you got lots of cultures to be proud of. Your background, your people. It just gives you a sense of belonging somewhere.
When you're the only Native person in the room, you often feel like you have to be like the perfect representative of that group because you might be the only one that this person has been exposed to, and so you have to be like the perfect example of that. Hi. and that made it really hard to be comfortable in my own skin sometimes.
The world is up and down, and to have hope is to have goals. You gotta have goals, something to look forward to, something to push towards. And I'm so glad you're in rugby.
These feelings of guilt that Kathryn's feeling, it comes from raising our siblings. All three of us older sisters, Diane, Kathryn, and myself, feel that responsibility. We were, taking care of them at home when they were sick, making breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bathing them, changing diapers, laundry. It's just different when you're like 6, 7 doing that. How I feel like that's manifested now, Kathryn really struggles with feeling like she hasn't made the right decision, or she's wondering if she has made the right decision going off to play rugby, but I truly do think it's the right thing to do. Whatever you do, like whatever you've done, you just excel.
It means a lot to have your support still. I don't always know if I'm making the right decisions, or if it's all gonna be worth it to be away from you guys, who are the most important things in my life. When I leave and I come back and so much has changed, and I realize that I've missed out on so much for these people that are incredibly important to me.
Well, it's not exactly your job. I feel like you put too much pressure on yourself for them to succeed, when at the end of the day, you'd have to be here every day. You'd have to be in the house again. I feel like you're doing exactly what you should be doing, what makes you happy.
That means a lot to hear.
I had no idea that you would take it further than college, but that's the dream for any sport.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, I recognize you.
She was a captain on our wrestling team, and she was a really good wrestler. She's beating boys. She's beating kids that are 18-year-old men. They're young men. There was cases where people wouldn't wrestle her.
It's bringing back a lot of old memories about early mornings, cutting weights, wrestling against boys.
Slow wrestle. Okay, stand up.
We're trying to push them outside their comfort zone every single day. I remember her senior year, we had 8 girls. Two of our girls were in the finals against each other, and she was a state champ that year too.
One of the really intense things about an individual sport is you either had it in you or you didn't, and whatever the outcome was, there's no hiding anything.
You're gonna have some bumps, you're gonna have some bruises. Those are things that you have to get over, Because if you want to be good, then you have to endure some discomfort.
There, good.
She had opportunities to wrestle in college and chose to go to Stanford. I just told her to join a club. I didn't know it was gonna be rugby. And she's taken it to heights that she probably never thought she would, just join in a club to meet people. Kathryn will give back. And I think that's where she'll get the most satisfaction, is to have an impact on others and be able to change somebody's life.
We're going to a women's rugby training practice in Anchorage, which is huge. They asked me to lead a few drills, so I'm gonna do a drill in a game, and then I think we're gonna play some touch. So if I could have 4 people step up at each one of these cones. Every time we're reaching towards the ball so that we are catching the ball how we want to pass, and we're pointing our hands to target. Point to target, perfect. If you run at me, then what do I have to do?
Come to me.
Yes, and so that you're creating and preserving space for you to run onto the ball and attack the space that you've created for her. Nice! Yes, that's exactly it!
It's really good to see community in rugby in Anchorage, especially among young people. A lot of people, I think, still find rugby only in college.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome to hear about your commitment to the youth and teaching people really young.
Our whole goal is to grow, the club side, but our main goal is to grow youth rugby. With this grounds, in 2014, we were able to bring up the USA Eagles women's sevens team for training, and we took them to all the high schools and junior highs. Somebody to see, hey, I can do this. I can go to college, get a scholarship and go. That's just a great sign for the future.
Round of applause again for Kathryn. Thank you. On three? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Eagles!
Yeah! You guys want to play? We need people.
I want my younger siblings to know that they're capable of big things. I'm always going to be there for them and support them and love them.
She's set the best example possible, and they do see how hard she's working. We really do miss her and look up to her.
You can spin it if you want to, but we're going to start with just a normal pass like that. And when you're going to catch the ball, have your hands out ready to catch it. Yeah, like that. Would you ever play rugby?
Yeah.
You would?
When I pull on the jersey, I play for my teammates, I play for my family, I play for Alaska Natives. I can't say that I'll never again struggle with guilt or question my decision to leave Alaska, and that's okay. What I can say is whenever I do feel guilt, I'll remember why I chose rugby, to set an example for my siblings, to show them what's possible, and to teach them the value of finding themselves. My name is Yayuk. I'm a proud Alaska Native. I'm a proud USA Eagle, and my journey does not end here.